Good afternoon. Thank you for coming with me is Palencia Mobley, our Deputy Director of DWSD, and Naveed, our Chief Operating Officer of Wastewater for the Great Lakes Water Authority, and they'll be available for questions after I make a few remarks. First of all, let me say good afternoon. I'm Gary Brown, Director of the Detroit Water and Sewage Department. First, let me say we know this is a heartbreaking situation, and we intend to do everything we can to get all of us back to normal as soon as possible. I was out last night about 1:30 in the morning, driving around, looking at all the flooded areas and watching people trying to navigate it, watching the accidents. And I can tell you that my heart goes out to all Detroiters that are experiencing flooding in their basement today, or the situation that they have to put up with. And we intend to do everything humanly possible to be able to rectify the situation as soon as humanly possible. What happened? The National Weather Service has a flood warning in effect, and up to 7 inches of torrential rain fell overnight in the Detroit area. The multiple weather services we rely on predicted less than 2 inches of rain. The intensity of these storms exceeded the design standards for pump stations and combined sewer overflow facilities serving the Detroit region, which are operated by the Great Lakes Water Authority. With this much rain, there's nowhere for the water to go other than flooding streets and basements. This is another example of global warming and how our infrastructure needs to be more resilient to meet these weather changes. What was our response? We've been advised by GLEWA that both the Connor Creek Combined Sewer Overflow Facility and the pumping station, as well as the Fruit Pumping Station, are all working within capacity at this time. GLEWA has advised us that once the rain event is concluded, they will perform an investigation of the system's operations, and so will DWSD. Our focus right now is taking care of our fellow citizens. And that's our only focus right now, is to make sure that the citizens of Detroit are taken care of. As you might imagine, with an extraordinary event like this, there are a significant amount of rain elevating water in the system. The system is now returning to normal operations levels. We are aware that hundreds, perhaps even thousands of Detroiter households have experienced water in their basement and sewer backups, especially in flood-prone areas. The Detroit Water and Sewer Department has been in the area of the city with the heaviest flooding since last night, and working with GLEWA to ensure systems are operating at maximum capacity and managing as much flow as possible. What the public can do. Detroit residents who have experienced severe water or sewer in the basement should contact DWSD at 313-267-8000 so we can know who has been affected and to provide important information to make a damage claim. We have additional customer service staff on duty this weekend to take calls. Customers can also go on the city's website at detroitmi.gov and click on the red bar at the top of the page to obtain information and forms for making a claim. Customers must notify us within 45 days from the date they suffered damage. This is a state law. DWSD is very concerned about the health and safety of Detroit residents. Do not walk around in standing water in your basement if the area includes electrical appliances, outlets, and wires, because there is a risk of electrocution. Do not drive, repeat, do not drive through flooded streets. And I saw a lot of people last night driving through flooded streets. And they got stuck, and they were stuck for a long time until someone could come and rescue them. If you see a catch basin covered with trash, please, please remove the trash and debris. The American Red Cross has been deployed to assist families who must leave their homes for safety. What's next? We expect continued rainfall over the next several days, and we strongly urge our residents to take precautions to protect their personal belongings in their basements. Make sure valuables are stored several feet above basement floors, or move valuables to upper floors in case you experience a flooded basement. Clean your gutters and downspouts if you can do it safely. Make sure there are no items blocking the exit of your downspouts. We have dispatched DWSD crews and Vector trucks to hard-hit areas so they can unclog catch basins blocked with trash and debris due to the storm. DWSD is being supported by this initiative by DPW and the General Services Department to assist DWSD to ensure blockages are being removed. And with that said, I'll introduce Palencia Mobley.
Good afternoon, Detroit. First off, let me say that we have been here before, and we are going to manage our way through this. The Detroit Water and Sewage Department is going to continue to work hard to ensure that we alleviate areas that have flooded. The mayor spoke with the governor this morning, and we are coordinating our emergency response for disaster recovery and seeking federal disaster assistance. We are still getting more information, and information is continuing to come in. We encourage you to call us at 313-267-8000 or visit the city's website at www.detroitmi.gov, and at the top, click on the red bar and provide us with your information. Thank you.
With that, we'd be able to take a few questions for either DWSD or the Great Lakes Water Authority.
If a resident makes a claim, what sort of assistance can they expect?
That's a good question. And I can think back just recently to 2016 when members of the Jefferson-Chalmers area made a claim under a similar circumstance. And DWSD, along with Great Lakes Water Authority, went out, made sure that their basements were clean, that all the debris that was wet in those basements had got picked up. When I leave here today, we're going to go out to Jefferson-Chalmers and make arrangements with the Detroit, the Public Works Department to start cleaning streets. The water has receded, and it's left a lot of murky mess in the streets, so we'll get those cleaned up right away. And then if their claim is honored, they'll be reimbursed for damages to property.
Larry Spruill with Local 4. You mentioned earlier in your statements that the water really has nowhere else to go. With more rain expecting tonight, what can the city of Detroit expect with tonight's rain on top of last night's rain? More flooding on the streets, more flooding damage in general? What can we expect?
Well, I'm going to let Naveed come up and answer that. Let me just say that what's being forecasted for tonight is 1 inch of rain. And if we get 1 inch of rain, we'll be just fine. But if we get 3 inches of rain, it's going to be a problem with the ground being as saturated as it is and the system being able to manage that. So none of us can predict what the weather is going to do with 1,000% accuracy, but we're reasonably sure that if we only get 1 inch, which is being forecasted, now be mindful that what was forecasted yesterday was 1.8, and we got almost 6. And so that caused the problem. With that said, I'll let the person that's in charge of running the facilities come up and speak.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. So as the sewer operations, what we do is we strategize on lowering the water surface levels as much as possible to be able to drain the system, allowing room for the future rains to come. We do this commonly where storm after storms happen, and we have processes in place that we will be able to lower the water surface levels in preparation of storm events. However, because of the intensity of this rain, it takes more time for that water to recede. But we are confident that the system will be restored, and it's already getting close to normal operations prior to the next storm that we're anticipating. So the team is working exceptionally hard right now. We had guys out since midnight. Earlier than that, people are working around the clock to be able to make sure that the system is ready for the next storm event and potentially whatever the intensity will be.
I have one more question. As you guys were out earlier this morning, last night we were as well. Several roadways, 75, the Lodge, 94, all. Is it just that the drains are overworked, or is just outdated, or what's causing the backup on our major interstates and major freeways and highways?
So it's a two-phased approach. There's a retail system and the local system that has collection system associated with it, and then that conveys into the large interceptors that are the regional systems. So it depends on a case-by-case basis. There are areas where the local system is overwhelmed because of the intensity and the excessive intensity of the system. Our regional system and overall can handle large flows of water. However, with this level of intensity, the combination of that is what causes the challenge of managing the flows through the system.
And my last question, for tonight's storm and for the rest of the week, I know this is predicted to be 1 inch, but if it's more 2, 3, 4, are we prepared for that, or will it be more flooding and you just there's no way around that?
So it all depends on the intensity and the amount of rain. So it's very difficult to predict how much rain we will receive. Our system is designed to handle rain events, and steady rain events are something that we are very good at handling. When you have excessive intensity, 7 inches of rain, although the system might be able to keep pumping, when the bathtub is full and the water keeps pouring in, it's going to start spilling out the side. So I think that it's all dependent on the intensity, and we watch it very closely. What I can assure everyone is that GLWA, in partnership with our member partners, our regional partners, are working on strategizing to maximize our infrastructure to be able to utilize every tool we have and working at its maximum capacity to get the water out and protect the public health.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And, you know, I watched Channel 4 News, and I saw you guys report that it was going to be going to be 5 inches over 5 days. If we had got that, we'd have been fine. But we got 6 inches last night over several hours, and that's what Naveed is trying to express. It's the amount and the intensity over a short period of time that caused the damage that we saw. All right, no other questions?
Just
Yes.
for the record, can we have everybody say their name, spell it, and title, please, for the camera?
Yeah, sure. Gary Brown, Gary Brown. I'm the director of the Detroit Water and Sewage Department. I also sit on the board of directors for the Great Lakes Water Authority.
Palencia Mobley, Deputy Director and Chief Engineer for the Detroit Water and Sewage Department, Palencia Mobley, Mobley.
Naveed Maram, Chief Operating Officer for Wastewater Operations for Great Lakes Water Authority. Navid, last name Mehram. Thank you.
Thank you.